What's up guys, welcome to today's video. I hope you guys are all having a great weekend so far. It's currently about 6:15 in the evening for me, Friday, May 29th. Today's video, as you guys can tell from the title, is going to be talking about a property that I'm currently closing on. It's expected to close, or supposed to close, June 22nd, which is about 3 weeks away, almost exactly, if I've done my math correctly. But it's a very exciting video. I wasn't actually planning on making this video, but I realized this specific topic will probably be a little bit easier if I spread it out through multiple videos rather than try to cram this entire property and the process of it in one video. So this video specifically is going to be talking about the process of how I found it and going about getting it under contract and my financing for it. Later on down the road, once I actually close on the property and I know it's for sure mine, I will actually go through the property, give you guys a walkthrough, give you guys my plans moving forward with the property, and kind of just show you guys pictures and all that kind of stuff. But this video is going to be more about the numbers and kind of the back end of everything. So I hope you guys enjoy. Sit back, relax, and let's do this. So this property came to my attention, I want to say about 3 weeks ago, the first or second week of May, and this was actually brought to me by my real estate agent. He is not only an agent, but he actually is a full-time fix and flipper. He does multiple houses a month, so he's very, very well connected. And we actually had talked previously about me wanting to look for my next project, so he knew I was actually in the market looking for my next potential fix and flip. I was not in the market for another rental property or for a property for me to actually live in, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. So he presented me with this deal. This was an off-market deal, so there's no agents involved at all. This was one of his connections through his wholesalers, which is why I always talk about making connections. Side note here, even if you guys aren't ready to start purchasing properties or you don't have the financing to purchase properties, always try to make connections no matter what. I've actually started myself whenever I go out, or like recently yesterday I got a haircut and he asked me what I did. One of the things I told him was I am a real estate investor and getting my real estate license. Even though I'm currently not a licensed real estate agent, it's something that I wanted to let him know that I'm working towards, just in case. You never know who's looking for properties, who has your number, who has your contact. So the more people that you tell that you're an agent or you're a real estate investor, the more connections you might have later on. So I just say build your network right now, even if you're not ready, because then once you are ready, you already have the wholesalers, you already have the hard money loaners or the financiers for your properties, and you already have that all laid out, because a lot of the times that's the most important stuff, is having those connections. So back to the story. He had a wholesaler present him the deal, and he's actually got his hands full with multiple properties this month, so he actually knew that I was interested, so he passed the deal on to me just to see if I was interested. The first thing I noticed was the zip code. Now, a lot of you guys aren't from the Phoenix area, so I'll just have to tell you, it is in Gilbert, Arizona, which is a very nice up-and-coming area in Phoenix. It's on the east side, actually, and that's where I'm staying right now with my friend. I absolutely love the area. There's so many just new commercial buildings, new residential areas. It's expanding like crazy and appreciating like crazy in relativity to other parts of Phoenix or other parts of Arizona in general. So I really like this area. I would consider it to be like a hot spot, which means there's always going to be people looking. At least from my perspective, I always think there's going to be people looking in Gilbert, Arizona for the next 5, 10, 15 years, just because it's so up and coming and it's still not super expensive yet. But you go to areas like Scottsdale, which are already pretty well established in Arizona, where the housing prices are already pretty, I wouldn't say inflated, but they're already pretty high up there. So this area is still, I would say the pricing compared to how nice it is a very good deal for a lot of people. I'll basically show you guys a text message. A lot of the times with these wholesales, they'll just send you a text message because it allows them to get all the information out in just like 1 or 2 minutes, rather than calling up a bunch of their connections or a bunch of their flippers. They can just send out a blast text message to like 50, 100 of their connections, and whoever comes back first with the best deal will take it. So I got a text message, and it's usually like a Dropbox folder with a lot of pictures as well. I think in this specific property it was like 40 to 41 pictures, so just to give you guys a little perspective on it, you can get a good idea on what the property is. Obviously, before you actually officially go through with it, you're going to want to, if you can, walk through it. Some of these wholesale deals, they're tenant occupied, so they don't actually allow you to walk in it. Like one of my previous videos that I showed you guys, I wasn't actually allowed to go in the property, only walk around the outside. I'll link that video down below if you guys are interested. I looked at the pictures. I made sure I checked the county website to make sure everything matched up in terms of square footage, lot size, the last previous owner. I did a little bit of research on the previous owner as well to kind of figure out why they were trying to get rid of it. Maybe there was like something wrong with the property. So once I actually checked all the numbers and checked on the county records to make sure everything was good to go, I immediately made an offer on the property with a contingency to go check out the property before I gave them my earnest money deposit. I didn't want to give them my EMD or my earnest money deposit before I actually physically walked walk the property. So this was a very quick, this all happened within a couple hours. I think I made the offer like 5 p.m. on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and we actually had set up the walkthrough for Thursday morning. So it was a very quick process. A lot of the times the wholesalers are like big wholesaling companies, just they do volume, so they just want to get in and out. So there will be a very quick process. So we walked through the property. I actually walked through it with Lenny, who is my agent on my other 2 properties. He's very insightful, so I was really glad to be able to walk through him because he was pointing some things out to me. Everything looked just like the pictures. Now this was a very unique off-market deal just because it didn't have the normal 2-week close, which most of these cash offer off-market deals have. This was a 5-week close, and that is because the current owners actually aren't ready to move out. They're still waiting on their other, I don't know what their situation is, but they're waiting for somewhere else to live. Maybe it's an apartment, maybe it's another house, and they're actually not ready to move out now until June 30th. Since the house was under contract for June 22nd, they actually asked if they can rent out from June 22nd to June 30th at $50 a day. I said that was totally fine with me. I don't really have any plans for the property anytime soon, so an extra $400 for me for them to rent it out to help them out was fine. Granted, market value, I believe I can probably get like $60 a day. I think that's what it will equate to if I actually did rent this property normally, but it is what it is. $50 was fine with me, and I actually giving them a place to stay. They have a little kid as well. When I went and walked the property, there's like a 6-month-old baby in there, so totally fine with that. They're gonna have it through June, and then once June 30th comes, I'll be able to go in there and show you guys, and I'll be able to give you guys a game plan on what I want to do. But the whole point of this video is to talk about financing. This was a cash offer, and the reason why it was a cash offer is because the current owners didn't want any hiccups selling the property, and sometimes with financing, it takes a lot longer, first of all. But I think the reason why they didn't want financing on this property is because they just wanted to make sure that this deal went through. Obviously with cash offers, there's a lot less going on with the deal where it usually goes through with a lot more success as opposed to financing. I'm not saying financing never goes through, but there is a little bit more of a potential chance for it to fall through compared to a cash offer. So I wish I had, by the way, this property, if I didn't tell you before, I can't remember, is $292,000 is what I got it under contract for. It was a wholesale deal, so I'm very interested to see what the wholesaler got it for. My guess is they got it anywhere from $280 to $288. Maybe even a little bit less than $280. I'm very excited to see what they got under contract for, because obviously a wholesaler, they get the contract, they flip the contract to the buyer for a higher premium, and they get to keep whatever they flipped it for. So let's say they got it for $285, they flipped it to me for $292, they get that $7K difference. I'm very excited to find out what they got it for. It should be very interesting, so I will let you guys know on that, obviously. But I don't have $292,000 in my bank account, unfortunately. I wish I did. It's something that I want to work towards, to have that amount liquid available at any given time. But the good thing about networking is I have my business partner. First thing I did, I called him up. I'm like, hey, there's this really good property right in Gilbert, a great location, good deal. I think it's worth about $40,000 above the asking price right now. Would you loan me however much money? I think the agreement's going to be he's going to loan me $200,000. I'm going to put anywhere from $80,000 to $92,000 on my own money in. Obviously, things are changing. We're still discussing that. But just to give you guys an idea, I'm going to put about 25% of my own money into it, and then he's going to loan me the rest of it just because it is a cash offer. A lot of the times, these people are called hard money lenders. They're even companies. Sometimes they're individual people. When they're individuals and they don't charge you points up front and stuff like that, this will be a whole nother video. They could even just be like a friend or a family. My specific business partner charges 12% annual, which is a lot higher than banks. But the reason why they do this is because they're less strict and they're a little bit more risky loans. So they're for maybe people that are flipping a property and they just need quick financing for 1 to 2 months. Usually hard money loans aren't for a long time. Most hard money loans that I know of are anywhere from like 2 to 6 months. If they stretch out any longer, you're really starting to pay a lot of interest to that hard money lender. So my plan for this property is to have this loan for about 1 to 2, potentially 3 months at the very most, until I can refinance on the property with a normal interest rate through a bank, and then get my business partner out of the deal, and basically the bank or the lender will take over his loan at a much lower interest rate, but for a longer period of time. So he's gonna loan me, let's say $200,000 for this, and if it's 12% annualized, it's about 1% a month. So if I'm getting $200,000 loan, it's gonna be about $2,000 a month, which is a lot more than my mortgage would be on this property with a normal loan, which would be about, I believe, like $1,400 depending on how much money I put down of my own money. So I'm trying to get refinanced as fast as possible so I can get a much lower interest rate, and so I can get my friend out of the deal, pay him his interest, and then it's just me and the bank at this point for a normal 30-year fixed rate mortgage like my other two properties are. I can't do this directly because, like I said, they want cash offers on this deal. They don't want financing, so they want a full cash offer, which is why a lot of the times you need a hard money lender if you don't have the money yourself, or a friend and a family that's going to pay you money, which is even a better case scenario than a hard money lender because they're generally going to be a little bit cheaper. So my friend and my business partner, he's going to make his money. He's probably going to make around I would say about $4,000 on this deal just for lending me $200,000. So he's making his money. I'm able to buy this property for a good deal, and then I'll be able to get refinanced on it. Refinancing right now is a little bit riskier because they are backed up due to the COVID-19, so it may take a little bit longer than normal, which is why I'm anticipating it may take even 3 months at the very max. That's worst case scenario if I can get financing on it, and that'll be anywhere from 45 to 60 days. Now, if I decide not to keep this house for some reason and I decide to actually flip it, I do believe this house is worth fixed up. This house is in really good condition right now, anywhere from $330,000 to $340,000, and I'm getting it for $292,000. So I already have a good built-in equity cushion on there. So if I did want to flip it, I would be able to flip it hopefully for a profit. That's obviously the plan. This would be a backup plan unless the numbers are working out really good, then I'm just gonna go ahead and flip it. But since I do like this area so much, I'm gonna try to hold on to this property, and it may even be a property that I potentially actually live in, which is super exciting, or I can obviously rent it out and have a third rental property, or the third option would be flipping the property. I wouldn't mind flipping it. I think it does have good equity, but I just think it's such a good deal in such a good area that this is something that I want to hold on to because I do think it'll appreciate at a better value than me just flipping it. So that's pretty much all the information for this video, guys. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of backstory on an actual personal story and just the financing for an off-market deal, how I found the deal, and all that kind of stuff. So a couple key notes here. Network. Not only network with wholesalers, but you want to network with maybe potential financing partners, hard money lenders. You want to build this team right here. And so then once you do get a deal, once you do have an opportunity, you can actually take advantage of it rather than you find a deal and you don't know what to do with it. You don't have the connection with the financing, or maybe you can't even find a deal because you don't have the connections with the wholesalers. And then just overall, just be ready at any given time for a potential property to be presented to you. I hope to do some follow-up videos on this. I would obviously keep you guys updated even if something happens and I don't get this property. I do have a $5,000 earnest money deposit on this property, so it is locked in, but until it closes, until I get all the paperwork done, it's not officially mine, so things can definitely happen in between then, but I don't really have anything to film this week, so I figured this would be a good video for you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to drop a like or drop a comment down below, and have a good weekend, guys.